Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's Rory with Roar in the Jungle, and today I'm going to be recapping the Week 3 Eagles versus Bengals tie. But first, the intro. Boom. So, first on the docket, I just want to say, wow. The game ended in a tie, which is super rare to see in the NFL. Basically, ties basically never happen, and to have one in Joe Burrow's first 3 weeks of his NFL career is the most Bengals thing that you could think of happening to a superstar quarterback. Just amazing. Wow. On the positive note, the Bengals have their guy. I'm saying it again. Joe Burrow looked absolutely amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I can't say how proud I am that he performed the way he did with having such a mediocre protection in front of him. He was running for his life, but still looked like the best quarterback on the field because there were three. Joe Burrow was amazing, and Carson Wentz struggled mightily. There were moments where he flashed and showed that MVP year Carson, but for the most part, we saw stale, bad decision making, very inaccurate on a lot of throws, which, there probably should have been like 4 interceptions yesterday by him. Also, side note, Jalen Hurts is definitely not the answer for Philadelphia. So all those Eagles fans are saying, put Jalen in, put Jalen in. First of all, they didn't watch his college career close enough. He can't throw the ball. If you look at his Oklahoma season with Lincoln Riley, all his receivers were like 5 yards of separation because of the scheme, and he was still off target on a lot of those throws. Like, Jalen's not the answer either. I mean, I still believe in Carson Wentz, but he really needs to get his crap together, for real. Second of all, the team with the better running game showed it. Miles Sanders went for 100 yards against our defense, which could have been worse. Honestly, could have been worse. But the Bengals' offensive line cannot get any sort of push. They can't run block. They can't even they can't even disguise their runs. Like, people basically know when the Bengals are going to run the ball. I don't know how, but the Eagles just knew every single play when Joe Mixon was going to go for a run, and we're basically meeting him in the backfield every single time. The Eagles defensive line just clobbered the Bengals offensive line yesterday. It's amazing that Joe Burrow can walk today because he was getting destroyed. That offensive line effort, like, they just need to go into the room and just hammer each other because it was so bad, man. I think the Eagles got like 8 sacks yesterday, and they had like an amazing amount of QB hits. Like, amazing. I think it was like 15 or 17 or something like that. It was up there. But the Bengals cannot keep putting Joe Burrow in that situation where he's getting hit that much. Like, honestly, if I was Joe Burrow, I would just walk up to Mike Brown's office and be like, I'm not playing until you can block for me. Until you make moves through trades and get me a decent right tackle or a serviceable right guard, because Fred Johnson and Billy Price were being destroyed. Yeah, Fletcher Cox is good, but he's not like 3 sacks good. It's amazing. Offensive line really showed their stuff yesterday, and not in a good way. Like, Joe Mixon was doing everything he could to get any sort of momentum in a run game. Didn't happen. Joe Burrow had less than a second to make a decision and throw the ball. It's amazing that Joe Burrow had 300 yards. Amazing. Third on the docket, defense. Very Jekyll and Hyde. They played well a lot in the game, but they also made those classic Cincinnati mistakes. Letting a team score a touchdown before halftime is so Cincinnati. That happens every single time, and it just shows you what bad teams let happen. Like you never see the Patriots, you never see the Chiefs, you never see the Titans let someone score before half. It just sends a bad message to the locker room. It's a very negative thing to let happen, but the Bengals are just pros at doing that. Now they did get to the quarterback yesterday, which was amazing. I believe Carl Lawson and Sam Hubbard both had a sack in the game, and they honestly both could have had two if they could have just brought down Carson Wentz. Don't get me wrong, he's a very strong quarterback, but you gotta finish on those sacks, Carl. You gotta finish on that sack, Sam. That's literally. If they could have got the sacks, that makes the game so much harder on the Eagles. It knocks them back out of position. I'm pretty sure on both those plays they might have scored, not scored, but they might have got a first down. So, you know, that's the difference between winning and losing. The Bengals need to capitalize whenever they have the pressure, when they have those opportunities to get a sack. You have to secure it. But for the most part, played very well. They did let Carson Wentz run it in for a touchdown when they could have had a sack. Whenever Carlos Dunlap, if he had just disengaged and wrapped his hand around Carson, that's a sack. The game ends. The Bengals win. But like the Bengals always do, they bungled it. And I'm not going to say that they clearly didn't lose the game, but they didn't win the game either. In OT, the defense showed up. They showed up a little bit better, but the defense is not what won them the game. What won them the game was the Eagles made more mistakes than the Bengals did in the last possession, because Jake Elliott can hit a 58-yard field goal. So, it's them getting that false start call and then the delay of game call, which knocked them completely out. So, the defense didn't play fantastic, but also didn't play horrible. They played very, I would say, good mediocre. We'll just go with that. Last, but certainly not least, T. Higgins showed out. 85 is back. The 9 to 85 connection is there. T. Higgins with that shimmy, and the 2 TDs. Yards wise, not incredible, but when he needed to catch the ball, he caught the ball. John Ross. But yeah, T. Higgins, a star is born. I picked him up in fantasy because I feel like him and Joe are going to have that chemistry. And talking about our number one wide receiver, not AJ, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd showed out, showed grit, and really he was the only really pretty much constant weapon for Joe. TB really was there for him every single time Joe needed a play. Every time he needed someone to be open, it was big levels Tyler Boyd. He is definitely this team's number one wide receiver right now. AJ caught balls. Yes, he caught balls. Caught 5 of 6 targets, but I think it was like 30-something yards. He's looking stiff. He's looking not like the AJ that we're accustomed to seeing. And it's sad to see, but I think the injuries have really took a toll on him. I'm not saying trade AJ, but these next 4 weeks before the trade deadline, I'm taking a look because I need AJ to be that guy we're paying $18 million a year for if we're going to keep him. It's either that or he takes a pay cut. We're paying him $8 million a year for the next 4 years if he wants to stay here. That's what I'm offering him right now because his production, that's what it's worth. He's worth wide receiver number 3 money per the stats. Now, he is drawing a double team, and the best cornerback on the field followed him, Darius Slay, the entire game. So there's that too. But I hope AJ can make a rebound, and we'll see. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed my Bengals Week 3 recap. Eagles-Bengals tie. Yeah, It's going to be one of those years, but I think that we all saw this coming, or at least should have. This is not a playoff caliber team yet, but they are competitive. In the first 3 games this season, the point differential in loss is only 8 points. We're not getting blown out of the water by anyone, and these are good teams, except the Eagles. They're trash. Did my recap. I hope I didn't talk for too long, but if you enjoyed my content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It all helps out. I really appreciate you watching, and welcome to the Roar. Peace.